Hello everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Making my last minute adjustments. So, it's Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, and it has been snowing here for the past, not for the past, just yesterday, and still cold. I'm a bit early, so I'll stop talking till I see you guys there. I wonder if you guys gonna join me today. There's Archie saying hello, dear. Archana saying, good to see you. So at least I'm not alone today. There is you and I. But I'm a bit early, so why don't you get your cup of tea or coffee in front of you while we wait for our other friends to show up. There are a couple of thumbs ups coming up. There is Yashima Hernandez from Florida. Hello, Yahima. Good to see you. I see lots of thumbs ups coming, but I don't see any hellos. So I wonder, are these ghosts or they actually have actuality to them? Am I seeing it with the eye of the now or eye of the past? There is Juan here. Juan says I'm first, but he's third. Or no, he's actually first. So Ma is here. There we go. Netherlands. Hanneke. What a beautiful name. Hanneke. Is it a lady's name or is it man's name? I think it's a lady's name, huh? Is it? Or am I mistaken? I hope I didn't offend you if you're a gentleman. The picture doesn't show well. Steve, love catching your thoughts on Sunday. Yeah, I know, me too. I'm chasing for it. Where are my thoughts? It's Sunday after all. Who knows where my thoughts are? Thank you, I appreciate it. I'm glad, Steve, that you enjoy it. Alberto, Canadian. The Oilers are here. Good to see you, Brandt. And Brenda from Alaska. Wow, magical places. Alaska. I guess to you, what we have here is summer. But it was cold when I was walking by the beach last night. I usually do a walk, sometimes late, most often late at night, 10, 11 o'clock at night. I go for about 3-kilometer walk by the ocean, and these nights are pretty cold. Compared to us sissies here, compared to you in Alaska, it's probably just midsummer. So I see lots of wonderful feeling and emotions from all around the world. These beautiful hearts, I appreciate it so much. I'm so glad to be here spending time with you. Sundays when I talk with you guys, I hope that it is for you too. It's a way to actually feel more connected to the universe, because we are all entities of the universe and we all boost the energy of the universe once it arrives through us and it wants to pass through us. If we are in good mood and positive thoughts and be able to extend that love and positivity outwardly while the universal energy wants to pass through us, we will in fact enhance and help the whole universe have magical energy and help us all to our limits to help each other all around the world. Now, should we start or should we still wait? Let's see. Let's say hellos for a bit. Germany, wie geht's heute? Carlota Valverde. Valverde. Sounds Spanish to me, but you say you are in Germany. Is your background Spanish at all? Or am I just thinking? Anyhow, guten Morgen. Wie geht's heute? Hast du gut geschlafen? So, but it is actually nighttime there. So I guess you're about to go to to sleep. British Columbia, Todd from Victoria, finally close to hometown. Italy, come stai? Raba, Ceruana. Napoli, oh, spaghetti napolitane. That's what used to be my favorite food, spaghetti. Until one night, my mom and dad wanted to go out to a cafe. You know, that's how it was back then. People would go outings and stuff like that. And I was a little kid, and I wanted to go with them. I wanted them to take me. However, no, lo and behold, that they probably wanted me just to be away from them so they could have a peace of mind. So what I did is I said, can I come with you? They said, no, there is, dinner at home already prepared for you. And me thinking with my own wisdom, I said, if I finish the food, there would be no dinner, so they will take me with them. So it was a big bowl of spaghetti in the fridge. I ate the whole damn thing just so that I would say there is no food, no dinner, take me with you. Lo and behold, I ate the spaghetti, they didn't take me. And I, for a whole year, wanted to throw up anytime I saw spaghetti. But then again, of course, I began to love it again. It took me a while. So, never think you can fool your parents. After all, they were children at one time themselves. Who knows, maybe they had done the same trick I did before. So, Olivia, I'm fine, dear. I'm here from Poland, Natalia. Dobre diem. Yeah? Or is it Russian? Just, you understand, I hope. Okay, so we have, oh, Hanukkah. Then I was right. I knew that beautiful name must be a lady's name. Hanneke, Hannah, is it short Hannah? I guess we'll call you Hannah. And Corey, hello Corey, Oregon, that's where I went to school, you know. Ray, I went to Lake Oswego. I went to Lewis and Clark in Lake Oswego. The school was great. A very good looking on Capitol Hill. Very beautiful school. It was like a dream campus. Malt Jong. You know, it's like getting together, us Argentina, Thomas. Every Sunday it looks like we have an outing. We all have a get together. Bunch of friends get together and talk. So I don't want it to finish, right? Who wants to talk serious? Are you kidding? Juan, great to see you as well. Or is it Juan? No, it's Juan. So, BJ, Minneapolis, is it? Yeah, what you get to experience now, I know. Utah, Nanette, that's interesting. Lovely name, Nanette. Bachman. Okay, Utah. And we have St. Louis, Missouri, I guess. Julia. Said from Dubai. Ahlan wa sahlan. Said, I hope I said it right. Marian from Germany. Guten Morgen. Danke. Ich bin gut. Und du? Thomas from Argentina. Nigeria. No, Niagara Falls, Canada. So, I don't know how to say it in Canadian. Eh? How you doing, eh? Okay. All right. From Egypt, Amani. Hello, dear. Oh, yes, Yahima. I am very safe at nights when I walk by the sea. Thank God it's a safe country, safe area. There are always crazy people everywhere. You never know, but so far so good. And I enjoy the walks. I hope wherever you guys are, you'll be happy and healthy as well. Okay, so perhaps we can start. Ali Reza Sultani from Iran. Hello, dear. Salam. Hope you're doing well. I didn't know that it actually carries that far, because sometimes I guess the connections are different in that part of the world. And we have Patricio from Chile. Oh, Chile. Chile has the record of the high jump with horse, high jump horse. I think it was, what was it? I forgot the name of the horse. Huasu. I think it was the name of the horse, Huasu. 2 meter 47 centimeter. I know. I watched that captain who jumped that high. Amazing. Huasu. I think Huasu was the name of the horse. Okay. Now, I know I can go on and just chit-chat for as long as I can, and that would be good enough for me. But perhaps you guys are here to hear me babble. So there I go. So today, I thought we will touch on an interesting subject, which is a elaborate subject, but I'm going to cut it short as much as I can and condense it and see if we can, enjoy it, and then perhaps on other occasions, or if you have questions afterwards, we can discuss it. So the question is, why is it that seems like we're constantly trying to reduce conflicts in the world among each other? Well, we kind of forget about the actual conflict that is constantly going on in our heads. If you know what I mean, let's say I'm having this tea, and it's a new tea, and something tells me if I should like this tea or not like this tea. What is that something that guides my thoughts? Should I like this tea? On what basis? Why wouldn't I like this tea? Well, isn't it true that because I'm comparing this tea with the tea that I had before, through my life, eventually I've been conditioned to accept, like, certain kind of a tea with its certain kind of characteristics. So that has based the opinion that I have about this tea before I really give it a chance to introduce itself to me. In other words, before I give it a chance to make me feel a certain way, make me like it or dislike it. But as soon as I see the tea, let's say I'm accustomed to see a tea in a more brownish red color. So as soon as I see this one is not that, automatically, already, my thoughts move away from the idea of liking it to the idea of, no, that's not what I like. So there's a certain kind of a blueprint has created in me, which decides what I should or shouldn't like. And I wonder, what is that? I guess for that to understand a little better, why don't we examine what is this supervisor that oversees my thoughts about something? We want to see what is that supervisor, where is that, how did that come about, and then we want to see its relationship with the thoughts that I have. So on that note, let's examine what is thought. Well, if you indulge me and go back 40,000, 50,000 years, just about the time that human being humanity or humans begin to be, look, act, and enjoy all the facilities that they had developed into. The time that the caveman had certain kind of intelligence over and above the instincts that we all animals have in a certain way, depending on what they are. So let's say I'm that guy 40, 50,000 years ago. Of course, I wouldn't have shaved, I guess, long beard, long hair. More hair here, of course, for sure. Hairy animals we were. So I'm walking out of my cave and sleepy or not sleepy, had breakfast or didn't, maybe a dinosaur egg. But I somehow stumble, put my foot in a weird shape on a certain surface of the earth, or maybe a rock I didn't notice, and my ankle twists or flip and I fall. From this happening, action, there's a certain experience for me that if I put my feet this way on this angle of road, I will lose balance or it will slip, or a possibility of a slip. There were no good, track shoes then, so it was slippery. And so from that action, I get certain kind of a experience. And from that experience, I get certain kind of a knowledge. And that knowledge is recorded. Recorded and becomes a memory. Because we're programmed, we're capable of recording. We're recorders. We record everything 24/7. So from that action, that incident, I got an experience. From that experience, I got a certain knowledge. And that knowledge became memory. And then I did a few other things and few other experiences, like, I saw an apple and I took the apple, and while everybody in the background was saying, "Don't eat the apple," but I did, regardless. So from that action, I got the apple and I got a certain experience and noticed that while I'm taking the apple, other apples fall. So shaking the tree makes the apples fall. Anything of that sort. I'm just saying. And so from that experience, I had a certain knowledge, and that knowledge became part of my memory. And so on and so forth. I would start having a basic type of memory, information in my memory. Accumulating all these different things, I will have a field here of consciousness. A field where there are information in there. And of course, from each experience, from each knowledge which I form and record in my memory, based on that, I come up with an ability to think. Because whatever I think comes from the information stored in my memory. That's why we call it the field of the known. That's the field where we've experienced before and we know about it. And from that field of the known, thought is born. Everything that you think is based on information that you have in your consciousness, in your memory. It's like having a field where you plant your seeds, farming. And the seed is growing in this field. A limited field, amount of nutrition that is in that field, is in that earth. And then the amount of water it receives, the amount of nutrition, the sunshine. The field has created a place where the seed can grow. Same thing, the knowledge and information that we have in our consciousness, in our memory, is where the seed of thoughts can grow based on what is being fed to them, based on what's accumulated in the consciousness, in the memory, based on what kind of nutritions and land earth, soil we have in this field, those seeds grow. And each of those seeds grow, they create a difference in that field. And the field is affected by this new growth of this new species of plant or whatever it is. Same thing with us. The thought is born from the consciousness, from the field of the known, from the information in this field. Based on this information that we've recorded throughout our years, we come up with thoughts. And from this thought, a new action is born. From that action, a new experience. From that new experience, knowledge. And that knowledge is stored back in the memory and adds to what is already collected in the memory, the consciousness, the field of the consciousness. And from that, again, a new thought is born. And from the new thought, new action, new experience, new knowledge, and from that knowledge, which is recorded again back into the memory expands. The field of the known expands. Hence, thoughts expand. So we now know the relationship between consciousness and thought. How thought is born and based on what. And therefore, can we say that the consciousness is actually overseeing what a thought thinks? So if I think that I don't like this tea because of the color, because my consciousness have been conditioned and used to a brown-red color tea. So my behavior is got a blueprint of what to think, what to feel before I actually experience many things sometimes. For example, if I'm at the beach and I see a lady is passing by and she has an attire of, let's say, suitable for that environment, whatever it is, pants, short pants, long sleeve, short sleeve, something. But before I even pay attention to who she is, what she is, how she looks like, how she walks, what is she saying, as soon as I see what she's wearing, which happened to be, I don't know, color green, if my consciousness has programmed me to like color green, then I form an opinion about that person right away. And if I'm programmed not to like the color green, or like the color, depending on what I'm programmed, I form an opinion by just seeing that what gives me a signal, before I see anything else about her. So in a way, what is stored in my consciousness is dictating, is giving me an opinion about my opinion about things, is having an opinion about what I'm thinking about something. So in other words, I have a background, I have a supervisor on my thoughts. Have you noticed sometimes you talk to yourself and try to convince yourself about what you're thinking, and then you make an opinion about what you're thinking? Who is making that opinion? Who is talking about your thoughts? Who is giving you directions, corrections, or thinking opinions about your thoughts about something? That's your consciousness. So, and the thoughts that you have is coming from the content of your consciousness. Therefore, thought is following the consciousness, and consciousness is controlling, watching the thought. So the controller and the controlled, the thought being the controlled, consciousness being controller. Consciousness watching, and the thought being watched. So the watcher and the watched. The controller, consciousness, controlled the thought. So that's perhaps why we have perceptions about things. I see an orange tree from the distance. I recognize that's an orange tree. And I go closer, I see an orange. So far, so good. I'm right at the moment. But as soon as I see that orange, I somehow see that orange with the eye of the past, based on what kind of oranges I have seen before and recorded in my consciousness. Some orange tree I saw in my auntie's place had a bigger orange, different little bit color, different shape. Now I'm saying, oh, this orange has a similar color to the orange I saw in the orange tree at my auntie's place. Or I saw it in Hawaii somewhere. And then that tree was beside such and such tree, and the area was, I'm no longer here. I'm not even seeing this orange anymore. I am seeing this orange with the eye of the past, based on what it was in my consciousness. So my thought, my perception of things is being controlled, dominated by what is already in here. So in other words, this is controlling what I am actually doing in the present moment, which takes me away from the present moment. I never even realize what I am doing in the present moment. I'm always living in the past. But that's another story. Let's get back to the watcher and the watch. So therefore, the watcher is watching. The thought is being watched, and the consciousness is doing the watching. So the controller, the watcher, and the thought being the watched. But answer me this. Where did the watcher come from? Where did the controller come from? Where did this blueprint come from? It came from the controlled itself. Because the controlled, the thought, is what created the action, from the action experience, from the experience knowledge, and the knowledge was recorded in my consciousness, made the part of consciousness. So this consciousness, this watcher, this controller, this field of the known, this memory has been, which is watching over my thoughts and having my thoughts be born from it, is actually, this thought is what made this memory. So really my memory, the watcher, is the watched. My memory has been made from the thoughts. So the thoughts is actually what has made the consciousness. The watched, the controlled, is actually what has created the controller, the watcher. So the controller, the consciousness, is redundant. And if we can put that aside and understand that this that is watching my thoughts, making an opinion about my thoughts about things, is actually made by my thoughts. So if that's the case, I shouldn't be focusing on seeing everything in my life based on what I've seen in the past and I've memorized it here, recorded it here. Let me be with the actuality of life. Let me see it as it is, and let me judge it for what it is before having any preconception of what it should be, because I have seen it and experienced it in a certain way in the past. Because these thoughts are actually have created the memory, the consciousness, and these thoughts are the actual reality of life. Therefore, they are free. They're the one who has created this watcher. Therefore, if they're free, I should be free, and I should not be bound by anything that could dictate what I see, how I judge, and let me see it for what it is, not for what and how it's been memorized and stored in my memory. So in that way, thought is everything. Thought is free. And if I am thought and thought is free, I am free. So if you're going through a certain kind of a breakup situation, coming back to our usual topic, you are conditioned to think that this relationship, whatever it was, is something you should like. That's how your life should be. And now that it is not, therefore you should not be able to be happy, because you're bound to what you're conditioned to think that your life or your relationship should be like. And now that it is broken, it's not like what it's supposed to be like, therefore you should be miserable. But if you think that is your thoughts that have conditioned you to think this way, then you will be free from that and understand that you are free, your thought is free, it can be renewed, it can be new, it doesn't have to be subjected to a conditioning of how it should think, therefore it is free, it is new, therefore you are free, and you can simply think, you can go on and find other relationships, other things, not to be bound by how your relationship should be, or with this particular woman, or with this particular man, and you can also, just like your thoughts, be free from the controller and go out and build anew and not be bound by what you're programmed to think that it should be, which you are programmed to think that the relationship that is broken up is how it should be, and that's why you're so miserable. It doesn't have to be. It can be new and pure and not related or bound by what it used to be or how you're conditioned to be. So, now that we know this much, let's see if we can have a conversation. And if you have any question about this particular subject or your relationships as usual that you might want to ask, or anything else, we can discuss that. I just condensed this topic so small so we can put it in. Otherwise, it could be a longer discussion and longer explanation, which it could become a little bit boring, but I think it was something possibly of interest to you. Now, I am open for questions, and I wait and see how you guys think about what we just shared. Farzaneh Khanumi from Texas. Howdy. Farzaneh. Okay. Christopher Cruz, burritos and tacos. I don't understand. Is burritos and tacos a place? Because I remember it's a delicious food. Thomas Tango. These are codes. I'm not. Okay. Nicole says, why is this guy an amazing thing in the world? He is just talking rubbish. Okay, Nicolene, thank you for your comment. I bet you that maybe it's not as bad as you think. And hello from Ikaria, Island in Greece. Arthontula. Hello, Arthontula. So we call you Arthon. So I already got one reaction to what we taught, and that seemed to be rubbish. But I like to hear other people's opinion and how we can continue our discussions. Are those fish on your tie? Yes, hello from American Spanway, Washington. Hello, dear. Hello, Diana. Okay. So we're waiting for questions. Christopher Cruz says, burrito salad, okay. Boy, am I in the wrong crowd today? I was born in... Carlota says, I was born in Bolivia and raised up in Germany. Ah, Valverde. So I'm not too far off. Verde means green, I think, no? Something to do with that. Bolivia. That's where Che Guevara comes from, or related to. Nicolene Kruger. Nicolene made another comment. I think, Nicolene, you maybe like to watch something else. I don't think this is a program for you. Ella, hello from Paraguay. Oh, wow, Paraguay, that's very interesting. The only place this soup is solid. What does that mean? Thoughts become things. Choose the good ones. Yes, that's right, Thomas. Jen from Ontario, Canada. Hello. Okay, now, questions, guys. Questions about what we talked about, or anything else, any other thing that you want to talk about. Any questions that you had before. Hello from Lisbon, Portugal. Okay. New York? The Big Apple? Okay, let's see. Jesse says this is a live stream of enlightenment. Okay, that's very nice. Thank you, Jesse or Jess. Let's see. From Mexico, hola. Washington State. Okay, I'm looking for questions so we can have a conversation. Thoughts are far away from feelings. Well, Brian, thoughts are, in a way, feelings. And feelings are thoughts. I have a seminar that I did recently at one of the universities locally. And in that, I discussed the topic of end of fear. And I demonstrated, we discussed and demonstrated how the thought actually makes you how you feel, and even how it affects your anxieties and fears and so on. If you go on my site, www.mindthatseekstruth.com, you will have a chance to go to the seminar section, and there's a 10-minute video of that seminar or that discussion that you can watch, and it will give you a good idea of what this was all about. And on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, you'll also have an opportunity to read a chapter of each one of my book and see what it's all about, see the table of contents, and see if you like them or not, if it helps you with things. And of course, there's a section that you can have a one-on-one Skype consultation with me, which I do around the world on a daily basis. And, we discuss issues, things that would be concerning to you, relationships or otherwise. And so also the site now has a program with 115 of the videos that are on YouTube out of the 250 that I have on YouTube is now exclusively for the VIP. So you can go on the site, and I think you pay about $5 a month, or for a whole year there's a discount of $22, and you have all these unlisted videos also. You will have access to them 24/7. And soon, within a few weeks, couple of weeks, if not sooner, we will have a session which will be 3-4 hours that people can from all across the world can simply sign in and ask their relationship problems or emotional problems, whatever they're going through. And so we can quickly discuss it with them instead of having to spend a few $100s an hour to have a one-on-one, so we can make it more affordable to everybody around the world, which I know I receive many emails every day. And instead of having to go through that, we can simply make it possible for me to talk about it quickly when you have the need to ask your questions with a nominal registration price of, I don't know, $4 or $5 for 3-4 hours that you can be there and listen to the answers to the questions of the other people that I give or to your own. So please go ahead and check my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, and also my Facebook page, again, Mind That Seeks Truth, author and the books, and you just click on like, so you will see all the new events that might be there and you'll be informed. And please share this video, share this live talk that we just did with your friends if you liked it, and let them all know that their help is available about their situation that they're going through their life, and it's very affordable for everyone to join in. So Matthew says, what are you getting at? You keep giving an example of nothing. Oh, Matthew. Yeah, well, if that is what you got from my conversation, then there's nothing I can do about it. Perhaps you want to listen to it again. So I got to have something first. Okay, Brian. All right. The idea is that many people don't understand that the conflict is happening in their lives and their head is based on their thoughts and their consciousness relationship, and the fact that they're not really seeing the actuality of life, and whatever they're seeing is based on the program that they have created, the conditioning that they have created in their consciousness. And that takes us away from living the actuality of life and instead living in the past. Because when we see something and we are really perceiving what it is based on what is in our memory and our consciousness, then we are actually not here anymore. We are in the past. We miss the opportunity of interacting with the present moment. That's why the life passes us by and we are not really in direct contact with the live life, and instead with the illusion of the past, which we imported it to the present and we think we are living. So really, in fact, the living that we say living is death of the past, based on the memory that we have of the past, which we go into. Whatever we see, we perceive it based on that. Therefore, we miss the chance to be with the actuality of life, and we are living a life in the death of the past. That's perhaps would help you to understand if you have any question about what we were talking about, which Matthew seems to have. So we are stressing the importance of being in the moment and experiencing life as it is, just like the difference between you see an ocean and then you have perception of many other water, body of waters that you have seen, versus looking at the movement of the waves and being with the wave and seeing as it moves, which will keep you in the moment rather than allowing you to go into your memory and perceiving the water. Instead, you're with the movement of the wave, and there is nothing to perceive it with but being with the actuality of the moment and the movement of the wave, which means you're actually living with the now, with the actuality of life, rather than with something that is already past, and it's an illusion. So Graziana says, whatever you do, your brain keeps recording and storing image. Yes, right, correct. Now you got it. Goku, yes, Goku is in the back, is complete in agreement with what I just said. Oh, the reception was not good, Steve? Or maybe it's at your end. I hope that everybody heard me. I hope. Hi from Indiana. Okay. Ray says wonderful, so I guess you heard what I said. That's good. And Grazana talks about my haircut. Thank you. Not much hair there to cut, but thank you. Faye, oh, where have you been? Is there any bad thoughts or good thoughts? Ah, interesting questions. Well, again, your bad thoughts and good thoughts, if it's being controlled or perceived based on what conditioning you have received and programmed your consciousness with, then you never really know for sure. But if you judge it for what it is and what it does for you and how it affects the present moment and how it affects what your life is all about, what your safety is all about, and what the safety of other people around the world is, then you could then perhaps figure out if that's a bad thought or a good thought. But beyond that, I need an example for me to be able to discuss that further. Good question. That's a question that it can go in for a few good minutes. Kyla says, I think you're very intelligent. Thank you for speaking to us, even though some of the people are saying ignorant things. Kyla, thank you very much for your vote of confidence. And I'm glad that there are people who understand what I'm saying here. And the intention of it is to bring clarity to our mind and our connection with life as it is, rather than stagnation created by our consciousness and not allowing us to interact with the present moment of life, and instead keep us in the past and in our memory while we're going through the moments of life, without we being present while we think physically we are here, but mentally we're actually somewhere else, which means we are really never experiencing the now, the present, the actuality of life, and we are really living what we are doing on a daily basis based on how it was. And that's why human being will have a hard time to grow and advance, because it is always carrying something heavy, and it stops it from moving on further, faster, and advance more. Now, Jim says, who is this guy? Well, Jim, if you look up there, my name is up there, and if you go on my site, it will have a little bit better introduction of me, and perhaps that would be something. Carlota says, yep, verde means green. Ha, see, I got it. Anton, what topic we are talking about today, Anton? We're talking about the controller and the controlled, the thought being the controlled, supposedly, and the controller being the consciousness. And then, so this will be available after we finish, so you can listen to it again. Jen says, please say hello to my son, Kaydance, or Kaydance. He's also watching. Hello, but teach me how to pronounce it. Kaydance. If I know which country you're watching this from, maybe the language will help me to pronounce this correctly. Forgive me if I'm not pronouncing it right, but I'm delighted that you're here and you're watching. I wonder how old he is. Juan says, we can't act like robots, see and act, or listening and act. We have a brain to think and act like or dislike wherever we see. Yes, and where is that brain getting its information to decide what is that you like or you don't like, or how you prefer it to be, or what your opinion is about it? That's the question that we were talking about today. Kaydance. Okay. It's two pieces. Jen says Kaydance. Ontario, Canada. He just turned 4. 4-year-olds and already a wise young man trying to understand. This is perfect. That's actually, if we teach our kids from the childhood that what you're seeing, you just should see it for what it is, not for what it was, and that would give you a better chance to interact with life and with the moment of life, rather than always being stuck in the past and seeing everything new, but still with the eye of the past. So, Ronald, first time watching you, definitely intrigued. Ronald, thank you. I'm glad that you're here and enjoying it. I usually don't have hecklers, but today I had 2, so I guess I'm moving up in the world. Okay, Delshad says, what do you think about the feeling of the passing by very fast when you grow older? I need to understand your question, Delshad. What do you think about the feeling of time passing by very fast when you grow older? By very fast, I don't understand by very fast. But the only thing I can tell you about how time is passing is, it's a different discussion about what time is. One of the interpretation of what time is, really, when you are seeing that orange tree that I just talked about, and then when you're looking at the orange and comparing it with the orange you saw in Hawaii or in your auntie's orange tree, and then you're now thinking about, you just saw this orange and brought you the idea and the memories of that other orange tree, and you're now comparing this orange with that orange, how big that was, how big this is, and the tree of it, and then you're now thinking about how it all was. Suddenly, you're no longer here. You're in the past. So you've created time. Time is usually created when you compare things as well. So if you're in the past thinking about that orange tree in your auntie's place, you're no longer here. You created time. And when you're thinking about how things will be, let's say I was playing soccer yesterday, I fell and I hurt my knee. And it feels better today. See, yesterday I hurt my knee. It feels better today. I wonder if it'll be still good or if I will have the pain come back tomorrow. So I created 3 times, yesterday, now, and tomorrow, in my thoughts. So really, it's the thought that has created the time. But in reality, if you be able to be away from the past, now, and the future, then you will stop time, which I have explained that concept in one of my books called Me, My Psyche, and I. And there's a chapter in there we talk about stop time. And that concept about how mind and body is coordinated, and the meditation, and when we be able to give a place to mind, have a home for mind, because mind doesn't have a home. That's why mind is all over the place. Is in one moment is in the moon, and the second later it's here, and then ready to go to Mars. So it's always going places. Why? Because it doesn't have a place in our body, like everything else in our body has. A finger is here, the wrist is here, elbow is here, my eyes and ears, nose, everything physically in my body, I know where they are. Even if I close my eyes, I know where things are. But I don't have a place for my mind, for my thoughts. The mind doesn't have a place. That's why it's like a gypsy. It's all over the place. Now, when we give it a home, which then becomes part of where it's supposed to be, in the body, then mind and body is coordinated. Then that's when we manifest our total power. That's how the unliftable body is created, which you can see on that little video that I said I have on my site for the seminar that I did at the university recently about fear. You will see how I have shown the effect of mind on the body and even on the law of physics. Perhaps you want to check that out. So when you actually have that ability to give your mind a home in your body, then the mind is not all over the place, and the mind is waiting for you to call upon it for whatever you want it to be used for. And then you, in your meditation, where the mind would be involved with your body at the moment, then the time stops, because there's no thinking anymore to go past or be here or to be projected to the future, which creates, these are all what creates time. And then, in fact, you would have stopped time. It's a little excerpt of what elaborate discussion I have in that chapter, but I thought I should share with you because you asked. I hope that answers a little bit of your question. Delshad, where are you, Delshad? Are you here in North America or in Iran? Ronald, thank you again. Why do our minds wandering the past? Bobby, we just explained it. If you watch this when it's, when I finish, it will go on and will stay for you there. I have explained to you. But why it goes in the past? Because knowledge brings certain kind of a psychological security. And we all are in pursuit of that elusive psychological security, which we can never get. But by going into the memory, we're going somewhere where everything is known. We have full knowledge of how things are in our memory. We've experienced it. There's nothing unknown. When there's nothing unknown, it seems to be a safe place. When it's a safe place, it seems to give us the psychological security. So that's why we have this tendency of going into the memory, which means going to the past, which we feel safe. There's nothing unknown coming. And that's pretty much why when the relationships end, many of you keep going back, because you're used to the order that you had in your life, which that order was made out of the things you were doing and the girlfriend or the boyfriend that you were in a relationship with, and everything seemed norm, was known to you, and it was nothing new. It was something that you knew about, everything about it. The whole mechanical process of your life was known to you, and everything, the order was known to you. So you go into your memory to be where everything was known and nothing was unknown to you. That's why it takes hard time for people to get out of their breakup pain and move on with their lives, because everything is new and the norm and the orders are changed, and they're kind of apprehensive about this. So they keep crawling back into the memory because that's where they knew how everything was, and they just want to create that illusion that everything is still the same. Nothing has changed. So I hope that answers some of your question, Bobby. Faye, young or old, good show. Okay, Faye, thank you very much. You'll be my promotion manager. Okay, Lagolobi says loved. Jen, thank you. Made his day. Okay, for sure. We're glad to have him here. Goku dies in the next episode. Goku never dies. You know, he's died and came back from the other side. So Goku is forever. What is that green thing behind? Oh, this green thing. This is just a fish. I just can't have it stop, stand. So that's why I just laid down there like that. Oops. I don't know. It fell somewhere. So you messed up my decor now. All right. Now, Valerie, I usually have a big emphatic while they suffer of others, even in movies. Yeah, I understand. I can't read newspaper or see movies with suffering and feel okay. What can I do with this sentiment? Okay. Valerie, I feel pretty much the same. And let me see, where is that thingy? Okay, I lost it. Here it is. You're pretty sensitive, and you're compassionate about many things, and you love humanity. You want to help everybody, and you are looking for fair judgment for people, and you are suffering from all the atrocities and the wars and the killings and mistreatment of many people around the world by many people around the world, and the nations and countries and the wars and atrocities and dominations and unfair, all these things. I understand that. The only thing that you can perhaps help yourself with is that realizing that you're not God, and you can't find yourself responsible, that you have to do something in that echelon. Because if it was up to me, I would have liked to flick my finger and have everybody safe, everybody respected, everybody loved and fed and protected, and nobody would have the chance, abilities to bother anybody, take anything that belongs to them or affect them in any negative way, and it would be a perfect world. Unfortunately, I had to realize that we don't live in an absolute universe. We live in a relative world. There is shade and there is light. There's hunger and there's a full tummy. There is life and there is death, which of course death by itself could be another stage of life, but we leave that for another time. So when we realize that we have no power to do what we really want to do, to help people, then simply don't watch all those sufferings on the news and so on. Just be aware of the atrocities, but you don't have to find yourself responsible as if you are guilty for not being able to do anything for them. Other than that, you're a compassionate person, probably very lovely, and to feel that way, as we all should. And if more of us feel that way, then the whole violence and the whole atrocities and unfairness and abuse towards other people would stop. It's all about the greed. It's all about the fact that while we each are a fragment of universal life, unfortunately some of us, some governments, some people think that they're not a fragment and that they are a whole. And therefore, if they think they're the whole, then everything else to them is inconsequential, as they have been stupid enough to think that they're the entirety of life and universe, and that's how they allow themselves to infringe on other people's rights and safety and freedom. That's no different than how it is in relationships when one thinks that he or she is the center and tries to dominate the other, which all comes from the weakness. If a person is strong, then strength will breed love. Because if you're strong, you're not afraid. And if you're not afraid, you will not mistreat others. The ones who are mistreating others, the wars creators, the countries who create wars, the people who are bad to the other ones for no reason, these are the weak people. These are people who are afraid, fearful. They're not brave, they're not strong, they're afraid and weak. That's why they attack others. They infringe on others' people's rights, and they mistreat their partner wrong. That is what is going on in every family, unfortunately, and it's not limited to news and the movies. Okay, Delshad says, thank you for the answer. I was just wondering why at times the time has passing by very fast, and other times it feels like I'm able to control the speed of time. I am in Denmark, by the way, thanks. Again, you're quite welcome. Of course, when your mind is totally paying attention and focused on the present moment, on the very moment that things are happening, if your mind is focusing on the movement of the wave of the ocean when you're watching in front of the ocean and watching the ocean, if you're with the movement of the wave, a certain wave that you're following its movement, then the time stops. Because there is no comparison for you between how it was, how it will be. You're only in the creation of the movement of the wave. And at that moment, there is no wave, there is no you, there is only what it is, what there is. Only an entity which is all one. And in that way, the time stops. There is no realization of time. Time pretty much shows itself when you start comparing things with what it was. And will it still be, how is it today, and will it still be the same tomorrow, or how it will be? When you start doing these things, then it shows time, and then you will see how fast it goes or not, depending on how quickly you come back to the present moment, and then you cut that segment of travel in time, and then you're back here. Or you stay in there and start comparing, and that's you're lost then. It has a little bit of attention when you fully focus on the present moment and you're active in what you're doing. You don't notice time because there is no time. You're so busy with the movement, with the actuality. Time doesn't mean anything. So everything seems in harmony. But when you're usually, I've experienced when you're bored with something, you don't like doing something, you're focusing on when it's going to finish. And that's when you can notice passing is slow. But when you're having fun and you're, let's say, playing tennis or you're playing soccer, you don't notice because your focus is on the actual game, on creating the game, being part of the game, part of the actuality of the moment, the present moment. That's when you don't notice time. I hope that would be something for you to ponder. And Juan says, do you think our mind is lie to our brain? Juan says, do you think our mind is a lie to our brain? Well, there is no doubt that thoughts are not necessarily true. And depending on where it is coming from, and depending on the conditioning that you have received in your consciousness, and if your thought is based on what is in the consciousness or based on the actuality of the present moment, then you will know if that's the truth or not. Often we think of something and we think it's the truth, but it's that we think that way because it's coming from the field of the known, something that is in a consciousness, and we have it there, that is something known to us, and we have accepted that source as a reliable source because it comes from us. And we think because thought is made in us, in our brain, coming from us, and we think of ourselves as a reliable source, so we believe our thoughts too. But thoughts could be lies. Most thoughts are illusion, nonsense. There are all kinds of thoughts that actually comes to us, has nothing to do with us, because we are like a receiver of a radio, or a radio receiver, or a television receiver. We receive all the broadcasts that are from all over the world, all over the universe, as part of the collective consciousness that comes and flows all these thoughts around. We are a receiver ability. We have the ability to receive all these thoughts. So many thoughts that we conjure up or comes to us, it really has nothing to do with us. But because we're a receiver, like a television broadcast, a television set, we receive the broadcast. But that doesn't mean we created what we are seeing on the screen of the television. It's our television. But what we're seeing on it is not made by us. So our consciousness, our mind is also like a receiver. We receive all these programs from all over, but not necessarily we created that program. We're just being able to receive that broadcast, and we put it on our screen. But because it's in our screen, we think it has something to do with us. It must be accepted or believed, or it's our thoughts. Not necessarily. We're getting a little bit too deep on it, so perhaps we can talk about it on some other time, because I'm going to go over for so long and I want to get to other ones as well. And Roland says, I'm very in tune with other energy, hence I can pick up a negative energy from others, and I'll try to stay away because I then feel drained. In the other hand, I consider myself a positive person. Yes, it is true. We, person, I try to find balance, because not all with negative energy are bad people. Maybe, well, the scientists have proven now what many already knew through thousands of years of experience of in training in from the past teachers. We learned that we absorb energy, just as energy passes through us, coming from one end of the universe, passing through us on its journey to the other ends of the universe. That's how energy constantly is flowing through the universe and every one of us. But we make a change to it as it comes. If we are a miserable, negative person with evil thoughts or negativities, we haven't been able to advance and come to the positive light and helping things to grow and advance in the universe, and by our touch and interaction with things, helping things to be happier and stronger and grow healthier, then we actually affect that energy, and then that energy becomes a little bit of a bitter kind of a negative energy, which the others absorb. We absorb the energy as it's passing through. So that's why when you're near someone who sometimes you feel like you don't want to be near this person, and the person hasn't done anything, he's just passing by you, but you feel because you feel the energy is passing through them, and that's why you don't want to be around them. And some other people, you have no problem being even very close to them, like this close, because their energy is so wonderful. And some other people, you don't want to be closer to them than 2 meters, because you don't feel great. And some other people who extending negative energy affects you, because we all absorb other people's energy. We absorb energy so we can feel them, and that's how we are affected. Many people think our connection with each other is only based on our physical appearance, but in fact we are feeling each other's energy in a big way, and that's how we act and react with each other and life. Sandra says, why is the heart considered wickedly evil when it is the mind that plans out the events of the current and future, sometimes based on the past or current times? Well, these are expressions that people say, heart and so on. It's all about energy. It's all about thoughts. It's all about intentions. And of course, when the material process, which is how the brain functions, is got something screwy, and it's constantly been focusing on negative activities and has justified that, and eventually that becomes part of its synaptic nerves connections, and the bridges, there are more bridges are built based on that type of negative thinking, then that becomes a personality of the person, and that person needs to rethink his life and focus on how to change that to a way to extend positive energy and be helpful to the society and community, and help everything, including people and plants and everything else, to flourish and grow around him or her, rather than be feeling uncomfortable. Valeria, thank you, beloved. My pleasure, Valeria. Hope you'll have a wonderful day and evening. Let's see, how much have I talked? I think it's been maybe enough. I noticed that as well, Faye. Okay, let's see. Okay, it's, I guess, pretty close time for me to say goodbye. I loved our chat today, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Seti says, I believe to follow my heart, it never fails. It's good. Okay, everyone, if there's no other question, and I can see that it says, Ronald says, thank you for being so patient and spending this time with us. My pleasure, Roland. I love all of you to be here, and we can have this dialogue and conversation. Please don't forget to do check my site, mind@seekstruth.com. Please do share this with on your social media, on your Facebook and whatnot. Please do go on my Facebook page, Mind That Seeks Truth, which the link of it is up there, and like it so we can be in touch, and if there's any events, I'll let you know. And again, thank you for being here. Juan says, thank you, you made my day. Mister, have a great day. Think and act before your mind is telling you what to do. That's what she's picked up from here, and I'm glad that you all, I hope, enjoyed the day, and I wish you have a wonderful week to come, and I look forward to see you guys next week. And please be good to yourself and to the others. Bye bye for now.